Some games fly under the radar, but end up hitting way harder than you expect. They don't get the hype, but once you try them, you realize they're actually worth every dollar. Here are the top 20 underrated games actually worth buying. The Order 1886 didn't make much noise when it came out, but it's a lot better than people give it credit for. The world is the main highlight, a mix of old London, steampunk tech, and some darker supernatural elements. It's simple to follow, and feels more like you're playing through a stylish movie than a typical shooter. It's worth buying because the whole package is polished. The visuals still look great today, and the pacing stays smooth from start to finish. Combat is straightforward but satisfying, with solid gunplay and a few unique weapons that fit the setting well. The game also gives you just enough exploration to break up the action without slowing you down. If you want something stylish and easy to finish in a few sittings, the Order 1886 is an underrated pick that still holds up today and is definitely worth buying.
I, Nikola Tesla, am but a mere instrument in this time. I find myself in strange company.
You never cease to amaze, Nikola.
A man of science, amongst ancient warriors and legends.
Galahad, did you?
I saw it.
So what?
Half-breeds.
Exactly.
I serve an order of knights who answer not to our laws, but to history itself. My work gives them hope that we will one day prevail against our enemies.
A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead is an interesting pick if you're after a horror game that emphasizes atmosphere and tension over non-stop action. Set in the familiar world of the A Quiet Place films, you step in as a survivor who must avoid alien creatures with hypersensitive hearing, meaning sound becomes your biggest risk and your biggest tool. It's worth buying because the game gives you a focused, story-driven adventure without extra padding. You're sneaking through houses, barns, forests, and old neighborhoods, always trying to stay quiet while solving small puzzles or avoiding the creatures that react to any noise. The pacing stays steady, and the game respects your time by keeping things tight and clean. If you like quieter, tense horror games where patience and attention matter more than combat, A Quiet Place is a solid, underrated pick worth buying.
Jesus. Fuck.
Sheriff, behind you!
I know you're sharpening your teeth for the president. Fucking beasts.
Now, Jack! No!
What the hell? Evil never sleeps, but it bleeds.
The only thing the hunter needs is his golden and a gun. And the only time he'll be satisfied is when leeches rot in the sun.
Evil West doesn't get a ton of attention, but it's a genuinely fun action game once you jump in. You're Jesse, a vampire hunting cowboy tearing through weird western towns and monster nests, and the game keeps things fun by focusing on fast, punchy combat. Shooting and using gadgets all blend together smoothly, so fights stay energetic without feeling complicated. It's worth buying because the campaign gives you a solid, straightforward ride with plenty of variety. Levels keep switching up the scenery, the enemies change often enough to stay interesting, and you unlock new abilities at a steady pace. What also works well is how the game mixes its Wild West theme with supernatural elements. One moment you're fighting in dusty towns, the next you're dealing with twisted creatures in strange underground areas. It's a fun blend that makes the world feel energetic without overdoing it. The Invincible is one of those games a lot of people skip, but it's honestly a solid buy. It's a slow, story-driven sci-fi adventure where you explore a strange planet and try to figure out what happened to your missing crew. What makes it worth the money is how well everything comes together. The retro-futuristic style looks great, the voice acting fits the tone, and the mystery keeps you curious the whole way through. It's simple and easy to follow, but still interesting enough to keep you hooked. There's no combat or wild action here, and that's fine. The game leans on exploration, choices, and small discoveries that slowly reveal what went wrong. It's the kind of experience you enjoy with good headphones and no rush. If you're into calm sci-fi stories with a clean look and a strong mood, The Invincible is an underrated pick that's worth buying.
There was life here before. Everything that happened here overwhelms me.
Not every mission ends in success, Doctor. We have to save what we can. Save you.
What is there to understand? We have to destroy it. Even if it means destroying everything.
Jack, run!
Why are you helping me? You're with them.
It's more complicated than... Our fate is laid out before us, Jack. Everything that happened to get us here, every sacrifice that was made, they're all a part of this path. They can't be changed. I don't know if we can win this thing. No!
Quantum Break is a game a lot of people overlooked, but it's honestly a strong pick if you like story-heavy action. Right from the start, the time-bending moments feel cool without being confusing, and the pacing stays smooth as you move between shooting, exploring, and watching the story unfold. It has that clean, stylish vibe Remedy is known for. It's worth buying because it gives you a full experience, not just quick missions. The gunplay mixes well with time powers, and using abilities like time stop or dash never gets old. The game also lets you make choices that slightly shift how things play out, which gives it a bit more replay value than you'd expect. The live-action episodes aren't required to enjoy it, but they add extra context and help the world feel bigger. Quantum Break is definitely worth picking up. Prey is one of those games that never got the attention it deserved, even though it's genuinely great. You wake up on a space station that's gone completely wrong, and the game lets you figure things out at your own pace. The vibe is eerie but not overwhelming, and exploring the station is fun because every room has something useful or surprising. It's worth buying because it gives you a lot of freedom in how you play. You can sneak around, go loud, recycle junk into resources, or use those weird alien powers to get creative. There's always more than one way to solve a problem, which keeps the game interesting even hours in. The story pulls you in slowly, and the twists feel earned. The enemies, especially the mimics, keep you on edge without being frustrating, and the station itself feels like a real place rather than a bunch of levels glued together.
I know what's coming. Some people will never understand what you can do.
Warning, this is a station-wide emergency. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We can fight the invasion. If I can't save us, I'm taking every last one of them with me.
All throughout the country, people are celebrating the new year with fireworks displays.
Shelia, sorry to disturb you while you're off.
Director Chen, what's the matter?
Just as the news says, our satellites have observed some abnormal weather. It's possible that it could escalate into an unimaginable catastrophe. The satellites have confirmed several hostiles nearby. Hide yourself in the rain and take them out. Remember, if you get spotted, it's all over.
So you finally made it. Once I finish pouring this primordial flood over Earth, the black hole will change the world.
Bright Memory Infinite makes a strong first impression the moment you jump into its first fight. It moves fast, looks sharp, and never really gives you a chance to get bored. The mix of shooting and sword combat feels smooth in a way most big shooters don't even try. Switching between the two mid-fight just works. It's worth buying because the game focuses on giving you tight, exciting moments instead of padding things out. The levels are short but packed, the visuals look way above what you'd expect from a smaller team, and the action hits hard without feeling messy. It's the kind of game you can replay a few times just to mess around with different combos. Combat is the real highlight. You dash around, knock enemies into the air, block shots with your blade, and chain everything together in one smooth flow. It's simple to learn but satisfying every time. Guardians of the Galaxy flew under a lot of people's radar, but it's one of the most pleasant surprises in recent years. From the moment you start, the game nails that mix of humor, teamwork, and space adventure energy the series is known for. The writing feels natural, the banter never gets old, and the story actually has heart instead of relying only on jokes. It's worth buying because the whole thing feels complete and well made. The campaign is a good length, every chapter brings something new, and the characters grow in ways you don't expect. Combat is simple to learn but fun, especially when you start mixing your abilities with the rest of the team. It's not a grind or a filler-heavy game, just a clean, focused adventure. Guardians of the Galaxy is an underrated gem that's absolutely worth grabbing.
Had one job, Quill.
I did exactly what? Gamora, no killing teammates!
That's who!
It's literally in your contract!
I made no such commitment.
In less than 3 cycles, all would be lost. The galaxy cannot be saved, Peter Quill.
We can do this together!
Fucking great, Quill!
Star-Lord, right?
It's Star-Lord. Oh, crap!
When we came to this cursed place, everything changed. I lost you, killed by this dreadful nightmare. This can't be happening. You trained me for this, to rid the world of ghosts and specters. I never thought you'd become one of them.
Banishers Ghosts of New Eden doesn't show up on a lot of must-play lists, but it really should. The setup is simple. 2 ghost hunters trying to deal with a curse. It's worth buying because the choices you make actually hit hard. You're deciding whether spirits deserve to move on or face consequences, and those decisions shape the people you meet and the direction of the story. Nothing feels tacked on or random. It all ties back to the relationship between Red and Antea. Combat is easy to get into. Red handles the physical attacks, while Antea's abilities bring in the supernatural side, and switching between them feels smooth. It keeps the fights interesting without overcomplicating things. If you want a game built around characters and a story that sticks with you, Banishers Ghosts of New Eden is a quiet, underrated hit that's definitely worth picking up. Stray is a small game with a simple idea, but it ends up feeling way more special than people expect. You play as a stray cat, wandering through a neon-lit city full of robots, and the whole experience is calm, cozy, and a little emotional. The world is compact but detailed. The story moves at a nice pace, and the environments are fun to explore whether you're jumping across rooftops or slipping through alleys. Even the small interactions, meowing, knocking things over, make the game feel warm. The puzzles and light platforming are simple, but they stay engaging from start to finish. There's enough variety to keep the adventure moving, and the game never drags or throws in filler just to stretch hours. If you want something relaxing and different from the usual big-budget games, Stray is an underrated pick that's easy to enjoy. Sleeping Dogs is one of those games people forget about, even though it delivers a really fun, open-world experience. You play as Wei Shen, an undercover cop working inside the Hong Kong triads, and the game mixes story, hand-to-hand combat, driving, and exploration in a way that still feels smooth today. It's easy to get into and doesn't overwhelm you with endless side tasks. It's worth buying because the game gives you a full, satisfying package without any bloat. The story is surprisingly strong, the missions stay varied, and the melee combat is still one of the best parts, clean, weighty, and more martial arts focused than most open-world games. The world itself has a great vibe. Night markets, narrow alleys, neon lights. It's a setting you don't see often, and it makes the game stand out in a good way. Even years later, it's still easy to enjoy.
Sit down and shut the fuck up.
Whatever it takes, you remember that? The dead are coming! Run!
Crap. This is insane.
What it means to be Sun On Yin!
Sifu hits different from most action games, and it deserved way more attention than it got. The moment you jump into your first fight, the game makes it clear it's all about timing, patience, and learning how to read your opponent. It's tough, but the kind of tough that makes you want to try again instead of putting the controller down. It's worth buying because the loop is simple but super satisfying. Each level teaches you something new, each boss tests a different skill, and the aging mechanic adds real tension. Getting older makes you stronger but more fragile, so every mistake feels earned. When you finally run through an area cleanly, it feels earned, not handed to you. Even when you replay areas, the game stays fresh because your skills keep changing how you move through them. A Plague Tale Requiem is one of those underrated gems that's absolutely worth buying. It builds on its predecessor in a meaningful way and brings you a rich experience without going overboard. Why it's worth your purchase. The story of Amicia and Hugo grows deeper. Their bond, the danger they face, and the horrors they endure all feel real and strong. You're not just playing through a sequence of levels, you're living this journey with characters you care about. The world and visuals back it up too, making the price feel justified. The gameplay mixes stealth, survival, and subtle combat with environmental puzzles and the series' signature rat hordes, which are still as creepy as ever. If you like games that are emotional and offer something a little different from the usual big titles, A Plague Tale Requiem is a strong choice.
There's only those who live, those who die. And those who stand in my way. My name is Max.
Mad Max doesn't get talked about much, but it's actually a really enjoyable open-world game. You jump into a dusty, broken wasteland where upgrading your car, exploring old ruins, and taking down raider camps feels smooth and easy to get into. There's no rush. The game lets you move at your own pace and settle into its world naturally. It's worth buying because the gameplay loop hits that sweet spot between simple and satisfying. Clearing camps, hunting convoys, and customizing the magnum opus always feels rewarding. The car combat is a highlight too. Smashing enemy vehicles and blasting through roadblocks stays fun long after you start. On foot, the fighting is straightforward but punchy, with a nice rhythm that makes each encounter feel good. The world has plenty to explore without turning into a checklist grind, and the atmosphere pulls you in. Tales of Arise is a great pick if you like JRPGs that feel modern without losing that classic charm. The game starts strong with two characters from completely different worlds, and their journey slowly builds into something bigger without getting confusing. It's worth buying because the game gives you a long, complete adventure with a lot of variety. The combat is fast, clean, and easy to learn, so you never feel stuck mashing buttons. New skills and flashy moves keep battles fun even dozens of hours in. The maps are big enough to explore, but not so huge that you feel lost. The characters add a lot too. Their conversations, small jokes, and personal moments make the group feel like a real team. If you want an underrated RPG with great combat and a full story that respects your time, Tales of Arise is a solid buy.
Not now, not ever.
That can't be.
Look out!
Right now, this thing needs dealing with.
The hell? Is that a Zoogle?
Everyone, be careful! That thing is huge!
Tectonic vision!
You'll pay!
Danon Liberation and the Renaissance. Looks like we've got our work cut out for us.
Lost Judgement is a great choice if you're into story-driven games with a mix of action, detective work, and a bit of open world. You play as Yagami, digging into a case that keeps getting messier the deeper you go. The tone shifts naturally between tense investigation moments and lighter side content, so it never feels too heavy. It's worth buying because the game gives you a full, polished adventure with plenty to do. The combat feels smooth, especially with the different fighting styles you can switch between, and the investigations add a nice change of pace. There's a lot of side content too, but it all fits the world instead of feeling thrown in just to fill time. The characters help carry everything. Yagami's interactions with the people around him feel natural, and the story tackles some serious themes in a grounded way without losing the fun moments this series is known for.
Ready to dance? I'm here to take Mikiko home. Don't give a rat's ass if I die trying.
I can't afford to get caught yet. Not until I kill them all.
Can't imagine I'll miss at this range.
Far Cry 5 gives you a big, chaotic playground to mess around in, and that's part of what makes it fun right away. Hope County looks peaceful on the surface, but once you start pushing back against the cult, the world opens up with plenty of fights, small stories, and weird side moments that make the game easy to sink into. It's worth buying because the game gives you a ton of freedom without overloading you. You can hunt, fish, sneak through forests, or roll straight into enemy bases with explosives. and the game never punishes you for playing your own way. The map has a lot going on, but it's spread out in a way that feels comfortable rather than overwhelming. If you want an underrated shooter with a big map, solid gunplay, and plenty of freedom to do whatever you want, Far Cry 5 is a very easy game to enjoy and worth picking up.
I'm waiting for somebody to kick off their goddamn holy war. You need to build up resistance.
Make no treaty with them! And show them no mercy.
If we stick together, Cult will never break us.
What God gives, no man can take away.
Over there! It ain't human! Kill it! Where is the monster hiding? It's still in England, isn't it?
Take your place among the bearers of the lamps.
One of us! One of us! I shall return as your judge and jury.
The God of Prewen has called for a second great hunt of our kind, and they will stop at nothing to eliminate us. You believe you're just fighting a disease, but it's you, the disease, Jonathan, you!
Vampyr is a game a lot of people skipped, but it's surprisingly engaging once you settle into its mood. You play as Dr. Jonathan Reed, a newly turned vampire trying to balance his medical oath with his hunger. It's worth buying because the game gives you choices that actually matter. You can help people, keep your distance, or give in to the hunger and grow stronger by feeding on civilians. But every decision changes the district and how the world reacts. It's simple to understand, but adds a lot of weight to the way you play. The combat is straightforward but fun enough to keep things moving. You mix melee attacks, vampire abilities, and the game gives you different weapon options as you progress. If you like darker stories with a slower, Vampyr is an underrated pick that's definitely worth grabbing. Returnal didn't get the spotlight it deserved, but it's a really strong sci-fi action game once you get the hang of it. You play as Celine, stuck in a loop on a hostile alien planet, and the game throws you into fast, bullet-heavy combat that feels smooth from the very first run. The atmosphere is eerie and lonely, but in a way that makes you curious instead of overwhelmed. It's worth buying because the game gives you a lot of replay value without feeling repetitive. Every loop changes the layout, enemies, and upgrades you find, so each run feels fresh. When you finally get further than before, it's genuinely exciting. The controls are sharp, the movement is quick, and the weapons all feel great once you start unlocking alt-fire abilities and suit upgrades. Returnal is an underrated choice that's absolutely worth buying.
Creating our own fate. Finding our own answers. For when all is lost, the tide remains.
Lies of P didn't explode in popularity like some big-name action games, but it's genuinely one of the better Souls-like titles out there. The world has this dark, twisted fairy tale vibe, and moving through its streets feels smooth and steady. It's worth buying because the combat and progression feel tight and rewarding. Attacks have weight, dodges feel responsive, and every boss teaches you something new. You can customize your weapons by mixing blades and handles, which keeps things interesting as you experiment with different setups. The story unfolds slowly but stays interesting, and the characters you meet add a nice touch of personality to the world. If you want a polished action game with strong gameplay, clean visuals, and a fresh twist on a classic tale, Lies of P is an underrated pick that's definitely worth buying.